Hello children, now in part 9 of squares and square root, we come to the second part, that is square roots. How to find square roots and actually what does square root of a number mean. So let's begin with the topic, what is meant by square root. Now square root is the inverse operation of the square. Square root of the number is denoted by the symbol. This is the symbol of square root. So now here let's observe this table. Square of a number. That means we know that it is 1 square is 1 and root of 1 is equal to 1. So I write this as 1 square which is equal to 1. When I write square root of 1 square, what happens? The square root sign gets removed and the square sign also gets removed because they are inverse of each other and hence it will become 1. So raised to power 1 it will become and thus we get 1. Same way 2 square is 4, so root of 4 is 2. 3 square is 9, so root of 9 is 3. 4 square 16, so root of 16 is 4. Now here root of 16, we write 4 square and as I told you, square and the square root are inverse of each other. So their product becomes 1 and hence it will become 4 raised to 1 which is equal to 4. Same way 5 square 25 root of 25 which is root of 5 square which is equal to 5. So you can directly write root of 25 is equal to 5. 6 square is 36, so root of 36 is equal to 6. I once again repeat, when you remove the square root sign, the square also gets removed. Now 7 square is 49, so root of 49 is equal to 7. Now here we get the whole numbers if here the numbers are perfect squares. If they are not the perfect square, then we may not get an whole integer, but we may get the answer in points. And at present in your syllabus, you have to find the square root of a perfect square numbers only. So 8 square is equal to 64, so root of 64 is equal to 8. 9 square is 81, so root of 81 is equal to 9. Now, just one more thing which you have to understand. See, minus 3 the whole square is equal to 9. So, root of 9 will be equal to minus 3 too. But root 3 square is also 9. So, root of 9 is equal to 3. So, root 9 may be equal to minus 3 or 3. But in this chapter, we are going to study only about positive square roots. Now, why does this square sign here gets removed when you remove the square root sign? Now, what does the square root sign mean? Let's see. Square root sign of any number means any number raised to half. This number raised to half. So, when I write root of 11 square, I write 11 square raised to half, so that half will be multiplied with this square. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled and 11 raised to 1 is equal to 1. Similarly, root of 9 square, so that is equal to 9 raised to 2 into 1 upon 2 which is equal to 9. But we don't show this. We assume that everyone knows this and hence root of 121 is equal to 11. We straight away write it in this manner. See here, 11 square is 121, then root of 121 is equal to what? It is equal to 11 because root of 121 is equal to root of 11 square and that is 2. When you remove the square root sign, this 2 also gets removed. Similarly here 14 square is equal to 196 and root of 196 will be equal to 14. Why? Because 196 is what? Root of 14 square. When you remove the square root sign, the 2 sign, that is the square sign, gets also removed. So similarly, root of 25 you can directly write as 5. Root of 36 you can write as 6. But these are the smaller numbers. You know the squares of numbers 1 to 20. So you can easily find their square roots. But when bigger numbers are given, you have to find a square root of a bigger number. Like suppose you are given a number 9025 and you have to find the square root. Then how will you find the square root of such big numbers? Now there are three methods which are used for finding the square root by repeated subtraction, or finding the square root by prime factorization, and finding the square root by division method. Now in this part we are going to study to find the square root by repeated subtraction. Let's see. Find the square root of 81 by repeated subtraction method. Now in this method, from 81 successively you have to subtract odd numbers in an order. And whatever, that is, suppose first step 81 minus 1, I get 80. Then in my next step, from the result what I have got, I will subtract the next odd number, which is 3. So 80 minus 3 is equal to 77. Similarly, in the third step, 77 minus 5, which is equal to 72. Then 72 minus 7, which is the next step, which is equal to 65. And 65 minus 9, which is equal to 56. And 56 minus 11, which is equal to 45. The next odd number is 13. So 45 minus 13 is equal to 32. And the next number after 13 is 15. So from the result, I minus 15, that is 32 minus 15 is equal to 17. And the next odd number after 15 is 17. So I get 17 minus 17 is equal to 0. Now in 9 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. In the 9th step, we obtain 0. If we obtain 0, then root of 81 is equal to 9. But if we do not obtain 0, if by repeated subtraction we do not get 0, then the given number is not a perfect square and you cannot find its square root. Now suppose you can find the square root, but it will be up to 2 decimal or 3 decimal. It will be in points. You cannot get the exact answer of these numbers. That means you will not get a perfect, as it is not a perfect square. So here 55. Let's see. When I am subtracting 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 and 15, the final answer I get is minus 11. So negative. I am not getting 0 anywhere and I am started getting negative numbers. Thus, we are not getting, as we are not getting 0, the number is not a perfect square. So this method is known as finding the square root by repeated subtraction. Now, some sums for you to practice at home. If we get 0, then the given number is a perfect square. If we do not get 0, then the given number is not a perfect square and hence we cannot find its square root. When we get 0, we can find the square root, and the square root will be equal to the number of steps, number of odd numbers we are subtracting. So here the ninth odd number we are subtracting and we are getting 0. So root of 81 is equal to 9. So now test yourself whether you have understood or not. If you have not understood, again watch this video. Slowly do it by yourself and you will understand. So after that, find whether the following numbers are perfect squares or not by the method of repeated subtraction. If the number is a perfect square, then you have to find its square root. See, in the previous slide, finding the square root. If I am getting 0 in the 9th step, then root of 81 is equal to 9. If you are getting in the 11th step 0, suppose 121, and in the 11th step you are getting 0, then root of 121 is equal to 11. So do it by yourself, all these three. And then in the next part, we will start with the second method to find the square root of a given number by prime factorization. So till then, stay home, stay safe.